Hello Bookish friends, welcome to the first video of my top 5 2024 video series. In this video, I will talk about the most disappointing books that I've read in the year 2024. I want to mention that these are not the worst or my least favorite books that I've read in 2024. I actually liked something about these books in each of them. However, I was expecting much more from these books for different reasons, and I ranked them according to my level of disappointment. Let's see which books disappointed me the most in 2024. I finished my first book for the month, which was the book that I was bud reading with Amy at Zobek. The 14th book in the Bed Stakes series, The Vampire with the Dragon Tattoo. I have been reading this series with Amy, and we are both enjoying this very fun series. In this book, we follow Dougal, another secondary character in the previous books of the series. And Dougal has been injured in, I think, 3 books prior to this one, and has lost his hand in a battle. And he is trying to adjust to this new situation, and really wants to be useful like he was in the beginning. When they discover a warrior who's sort of like in a comatose state, vampire community bring a scientist, Leia, to learn more about the DNA of this captive soldier. And when Dougal meets Leia, an instant attraction happens, and Dougal falls in love hard with Leia after the death of his first love 300 years ago. I really did like the first half of this book very much. I thought the chemistry between the couple was very good. And I also was quite interested in the structure of the big battle, which happens in every book. However, the implementation of the action scenes was just fine, and I also really did not like the ending of the book. Without giving spoilers, I can say that I felt like the author really chose the easy way to resolve some of the issues. But like every book that we read, I really did enjoy exchanging ideas with Amy. I still cannot believe we only have 2 books left in the series. But of course, we are planning more buddy reads together. Anyway, I gave The Vampire with Dragon Tattoo by Kerrelyn Sparks a 7 out of 10. Late yesterday night, I finished the audiobook that I was listening for 5 days, which was also the last book in the House trilogy. The House of Many Ways by Diane Wynne. In this book, we follow Kelsey, who's a book lover and has been sent to her great uncle, a quite efficient wizard, to take care of his house. When she goes there, she sees that the wizard is ill, and she has to live in his magical house by herself while he's away. And during that time, she meets a dog who adores her. Also, another boy who's sent to be the magician's assistant. As they try to cohabit together, our heroine gets a job as the assistant librarian of the king, and there she encounters magical beings, both very good and also evil. I very much enjoyed the first book in the series, The House Moving Castle. And I found the second book not quite as good, but I also enjoyed listening to that book. I did not feel bored with this book. It was also great to see the characters from the previous books appear. But while I was listening to the book, I felt like something new came with each chapter, and this made me feel like author made up some things as the story went on. I have to admit, I really do not like such books or TV series. So as a summary, I gave The House of Many Ways by Diane Wynne a 6 out of 10. And I'm glad that I finished one more series from the vast list of my ongoing series. I finished the book that I chose for my TBR Weds Cup last month, which was The Pursuit of Love by Nancy Mitford. I originally added this book to my TBR when it was chosen for the book club hosted by Kate Howe last year. And being really busy at work, I couldn't read it at that time. In this book, we follow Linda, who's the second eldest daughter of Redford family, from her childhood until she is a grown woman. But the story is told from the perspective of her cousin, being born in a family of landowners and having land capital. Linda is quite a rebel in her society and her family, who are quite traditional and oppressive English family with 18th century values. I was quite excited to read this book because I've heard quite good things about Nancy Mitford from my friends. However, unfortunately, although I found the writing style to be quite decent, I found the plot and the characters to be very bland, and I really did not like Linda as a character. I do not mind unlikable characters when the plot is interesting and also quite action-packed. But this being a quite slow-moving plot and being also quite a character-based plot, this book was very hard for me to like. There were some parts in the book which actually did not involve Linda that I found quite interesting. Overall, I can say that this was a quite disappointing book for me. I will certainly not continue with the series. I gave The Pursuit of Love by Nancy Mitford a 6 out of 10. And I finished the book that I was bud reading with Angie at Angie and the Great World, which is titled Sür Pulluğunu, Ölülerin Kemikleri Üzerinde by Olga Tokarczuk. This book, originally written in Polish, was translated to English as Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead. This book takes place in a very remote Polish village near the border of Czechia. Janina is our main character, who's the caretaker of some of the houses in the land, and she's also a part-time English teacher in the village. And she's very interested in spending her times studying astrology and translating the poetry of William Blake with a former student of hers. And her reputation as a crank and a recluse is amplified by her not so secret preference for the company of animals over humans. When some residents of the town are mysteriously found dead in very short periods after each other, Janina claims that because they were all hunters, they were killed by the animals because they wanted to take revenge. This work is quite popular among the book lovers in my country, and I had put it on my TBR because of that. And when Angie said that this book was a book that she wanted to read, we decided to read it together. Maybe because it is praised a lot in the country. I was quite disappointed by this work. Although through the end, I quite liked the twist in the plot. The whole book felt very weird. It was weirdly structured. The main character was extremely weird, with her fixation on astrology and extreme love of animals. And many of the chapters written in stream of conscious method really made me feel unable to follow some of the chapters, although I had no trouble understanding the general plot. Actually, the only thing that impressed me was how well the physical environment was described in the book. But I really had trouble understanding why this author is an award-winning author. Overall, I gave Sür Pulluğunu, Ölülerin Kemikleri Üstünden, Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead a 6 out of 10. and I finished the book that I was reading for quite a while, which was Unsheltered by Barbara Kingsolver. I read this for the Fear of Missing Out book club. In this book, we follow two timelines. In Villa's timeline, which is happening in the current times, she is dealing with the fact that her home that she inherited from her aunt has damages that would really be expensive to fix. And during that time, there are other factors that contribute to this economic crisis that she and her family are going through. The addition of a grandchild by her son, the mother of this child, has unfortunately killed herself. They moved back to Villa's house. She is doing freelance work, but she is not having a fixed income. The income coming from her husband is quite low, and also the failing health of her father-in-law is adding to this economical hardness that she is going through. And one day somebody comes with an idea that her home can be one of the historic homes that needs to be reserved, because a very famous woman scientist lived there. And in the second timeline, we follow the neighbor of this very famous scientist, Mary Treat. This man, who's a college teacher in the late 1800s. This teacher, who really believes in science and Darwin theory, along with Mary Treat, deals with the prejudice of a very religious and rigid community led by a very charismatic society leader. When this book was announced, I was very excited, because The Poisonwood Bible by Barbara Kingsolver had been one of my favorite books of 2022. I loved the writing style of Kingsolver and the way that she constructed her characters. However, in this book, although the writing style was actually good, I did not find anything else very impressive. The plot was quite boring and uneventful for me. The characters, although they were quite complex, felt like they were not behaving consistently. I really did not know how I felt about each character. I need some kind of emotional connection with a character, either love or hate them, to feel invested in the story, and this clearly did not happen. And one other thing that really bothered me was the fact that although I agreed with many of the social aspects promoted by the author, I felt like this book was too didactic. Like the message that the author was trying to give put the story in the background, though the historic timeline was significantly better. I was very disappointed by this book, and I gave Unsheltered by Barbara Kingsolver a 6 out of 10. So those were my top 5 most disappointing books that I've read in 2024. Please comment down below what was the most disappointing book that you read last year. And if you're a new viewer, first of all, welcome. Please like and subscribe. Hope to see you very soon. Bye. As for Turkish word of the day, I'm going to choose many. Many means birçok in Turkish, and birçok is our Turkish word of the day. Have a good day.